Hi, I'm Mika Truman, and welcome to my YouTube channel as well as Frankincense School of Mystical Arts. I wanted to share with you some of the biggest changes that I see in our personal lives. And you can call it a prediction video or not, because it really applies to your own personal self, and it applies to you and your relationships, whether this is your love relationship, your spouse, your best friend, your brother, your sister, your parents. I really wanted to jump on and share with you. Sometimes you reach a point in the relationships, and many of you are starting to have this big awakening where you're realizing, okay, is a relationship that I'm in, am I really getting what I need out of it? Am I being used? Do they love me? Do they like me? We're to a point where we're kind of sitting back and we're evaluating the dynamic of our relationships on any level, in any capacity. And you're just kind of sitting back and thinking, okay, and you have your list and you're kind of going through it because you're to a point right now. And so many people on the planet are experiencing this, where they're starting to realize and see that maybe their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their husbands, their wives, maybe they really have not been getting what they thought out of the relationship. Maybe the relationship is one-sided. Maybe they are the one giving and giving and giving, and yet, their cup is empty. They're not getting what they need. Many people are realizing, you know what? That doesn't work for me anymore. And this could be a relationship that you have had for 25 years or even 6 months. It doesn't even matter. People are to a point where if they do not feel that the relationships that they're in is balanced, they're being done. They're done and they're finished with it. And it doesn't matter whether it is your parents or your siblings, your neighbors. It doesn't matter who it is. But people are really kind of sitting back and taking a strong evaluation of their life. And they are to a point where even within their love relationships, that if they have a partner who calls when they need money, who calls when they want to come and do a sleepover, or maybe they want to go out to dinner, but they have no money, which means, yes, of course, you're going to pay for it. Or they would be expecting that you would. Or you go and you get there and we're halfway through and then, oh my gosh, I forgot my wallet. People are to the point where the old tricks and the old behaviors, they don't work anymore. And people are not really participating and they're not playing. And they're kind of back and sitting back. And even if it means they're really going and getting rid of all of their friends and cutting off a lot of their family to where it is totally nobody left, people are to that point. And they're sitting back realizing, you know what? I don't even care. If I have no relationships, if I have to say goodbye to all of them because I'm done, I have to feel like that I'm fulfilled and that I'm important. Because people are changing. You're not the same as what you once were. And you're sitting back, and a lot of this has to do with even a year and a half ago when it started. Because the energy shift started about a year and a half ago. And it's starting to really, then we had the COVID, and then we had the lockdown, and things in our home, within our personal lives, really starting to intensify, which really did put an interesting pressure on our relationships, to where you really, anytime anybody's under any kind of pressure, you start to really see who they are, what they're really about, who they have been all along. When a relationship ends, whether it be friends, families, doesn't matter who, marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend, when it ends, that's who you see, who they really were all along. But sometimes it takes a tragic, unfortunate event for people to really show who they are. And then you sit back and think, how did I miss this? Why didn't I see this? People are starting to see this so very clearly. And they're starting to put more value on themselves. And they're starting to really recognize their own importance. And they're realizing that we can end a relationships, and we can be at peace and harmony and love and compassion, and we can totally just say goodbye. And then the other person may not be quite feeling the same way. Because remember, I've been saying it for a long time. When this shift that is occurring right now, and this mass awakening takes place, as it is and it has been for the past year and a half, look at what's been happening for the past year and a half. Things have been shifting and they've been changing. And it's really applied a lot of pressure, which it's really caused us to go majorly inward and look at ourselves. Who are we? What do we want? What have I been doing with my life? People have been doing a lot of self-evaluation, and the relationships that they thought was acceptable, they're sitting back and thinking, that's not acceptable. That's not okay. I love me more. And people are cutting them off. I really want to express right now to stay out of the drama, because the only thing that the drama is going to do is suck you in, and then what? We're going to do what we're trying to get out of. Argue and bicker and fight and bring out our ugly side that we no longer want to feed. We no longer want to be a part of that side that is all about the bickering and the fighting. We're different. We're changed. We've changed. If you're watching this video, chances are you're one of the ones that is done with the past and that side of you that isn't shifting and it's not evolving, because we're at the Great Awakening time. And this beautiful magnetic shift that's occurring, that either you're going to get it and you're going to shift and you're going to rise above it, or you're not. And if you're not, unfortunately, you may not ever. You may stay in that place. You may totally fall into your fear. You may not evolve, you may not ever grow, and you may get worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, I see where going even into several more years, we could see, unfortunately, because when the planet is shifting on this large scale so significantly, the energy is changing. And what happens? It affects us, and affects us who we are. And unfortunately, people may not make it on the other side. So when the planet is kind of like going through this birth canal, if you are not at the higher vibration, you may find either sickness, or you may see others who have become mean and vindictive and just ugly, and it's going to start to affect their outward appearance. And then it's going to affect their ways and their attitude and how they treat everyone, because it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And anytime that you feed such ugliness, I've seen many times where it affects inward. And because it's not who you are, it's not of your higher self. And sometimes it can make you very sick, and sometimes it can really take your life. It can cause misfortune and accidents to happen because we're not living your highest self. And we may go through a period within the next several years to like 2025 where you may see a lot of deaths and a lot of passings of your family members because they didn't shift and they didn't want to. And whether it is fear or whether it is just not wanting to, they are comfortable and happy being in their arguing and the fighting and the drama because they feel comfortable. They like it there. And it's okay. They can do that. But we're going to a point where we may start seeing a lot of people just choose to just, man, I can't do this. It's too much. Because most of the time it's the fear of the unknown. And most of the time it is the fear of, I don't know what that new person looks like. And this is why so many of you ask, how come this girl hasn't stepped forward? I don't get it. Why do they have to be so stuck? Do they not realize how great the relationship could be if they just step forward? Sometimes it's easier to stay right here. It's not as scary, and it's safe because they tell themselves it's safe. Is it really? No. But they believe it because going into this beautiful new relationship in this beautiful new world, that's scary because they don't know what it feels like. And when they go through this major magnetic energetic shift and change, it's different. it's not going to be the same. And either they're brave and they're strong and they easily move through, just like with water, and they go to the next level, leaving fear behind. It could be the best decision ever. But I just want you to know why you're experiencing all these things and why you may feel like I'm just done with so many people and relationships in my life, and it's really okay. That is okay. And I want you to be full of love and gratitude for the experiences that you had with them, because if you're saying goodbye to some relationships, there had to have been some good points along the way and lessons that you learned. And when we go into gratitude, it makes it much easier to just move through it in peace and harmony. Then there's no bitterness, and then there's no anger, and then there's no resentment, because why couldn't they step up? Because they don't have to. And we're okay with that. So I just wanted to leave that message with you. I love you all so very much, and I'm full of gratitude to you. But don't forget to jump over to fsma.life. We have some great readings specials over there. And we also have some great psychic courses. So to book your reading, to check out the psychic courses, don't forget to like and subscribe the video. And until next time, we will connect soon.